This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, fiery debate at the Dunedin City Council as a Three Waters decision gets revisited. Warm and dry weather in Southland prompts a total fire ban across the district. And Dunedin scientists discover New Zealand's blue-eyed shags may have come from a continent far away. Kia ora. Good evening, I'm Phil Vaughan. There was some fiery debate around Three Waters proposals this morning at the Dunedin City Council's online meeting. Up for discussion was whether to overturn a previous decision to join a nationwide lobby group against the government's Three Waters reforms. Things got heated as councillors implored those voting on the other side of the debate to change their minds.
Another close vote for Dunedin City Council's stance on Three Waters reforms. This time councillors narrowly voted to overturn their decision in February to join the nationwide lobby group Communities for Local Democracy.
Carried 7-6 with one abstention.
Dunedin City councillors voted 8-7 in favour of joining the Communities for Local Democracy group in late February. The lobby group includes 31 other local councils across the country, uniting in opposition to the government's Three Water proposals, which would see the governance of drinking, storm and wastewater largely taken away from local councils and administered via Wellington. There were strong arguments for and against overturning the previous vote, after Mana Whenua withdrew from the council's Māori participation program.
We got it wrong. It's embarrassing for all of us.
I seek an outcome that both protects the people of the city as well as achieving the government's objectives in health and environmental outcomes and establishing iwi co-governance.
But make no mistake that it is likely the most important vote you will cast in your time as an elected member.
And I am very sorry our decision to join Communities for Local Democracy hurt you so deeply.
The use of the word ownership by Ngāi Tahu's representative and by others, claiming that we would still somehow own the ownership of these Three Waters when we no longer have control over it, is absurd.
Dunedin Mayor Aaron Hawkins says the decision allows council to begin repairing its relationship with Mana Whenua, who were disappointed in the council's previous stance.
But our history as a city didn't arrive on the Philip Lang. And I don't think we can celebrate our settler histories with any real pride if at the same time we are ignoring the people of the land that it is built on.
Mayor Hawkins, Deputy Mayor Christine Geary, along with councillors Benson Pope, Laufiso, Lord, Staines and Walker, supported reversing the decision. Those voting against the decision to leave were councillors Barker, Houlihan, O'Malley, Radich, Vandervis and Wiley. Councillor Elder abstained, while Councillor Hall was absent. Runanga o Otago Chairwoman Rachel Wesley and Kati Huirapa ki Puketaraki Chairman Matapura Ellison said they were greatly heartened by today's decision. In Dunedin, the South Today.
The Otago Regional Council is warning passengers bus services could be very full over the next 3 months due to the temporary introduction of half-price fares. The reduced fares are part of the government's response to record high fuel prices, which included a 3-month cut in petrol and diesel taxes. Half-price bus fares start from Friday in Dunedin and Queenstown, with the ORC expecting more people to jump on board, especially at peak times. However, they're warning that with services already disrupted, an increase in travellers could mean buses on some routes fill up well before their final destination. The Regional Council says it won't be able to provide extra services, with many drivers isolating due to COVID-19 and increased school services. A total fire ban has been introduced for the Southland district following recent warm and dry weather. Fire and Emergency NZ moved all of Southland into a prohibited fire season from 6 a.m. this morning. Southland's district manager says the extended dry weather conditions, together with lower water levels and restrictions, have prompted the decision. Southland has experienced lower than normal rainfall and higher than usual temperatures in recent months. The total fire ban means all permits are suspended until further notice, with NIWA not forecasting any significant rainfall for the Southland District in the near future. The relaxing of COVID-19 restrictions means Anzac Day parades can be held around the southern region this year. Dawn services are scheduled in Dunedin and Queenstown, but Invercargill is still to make a decision on Anzac Day plans. However, many organisers are asking whether anyone will actually come, given people's hesitancy to go to large gatherings while Omicron infections are still high. Government changes to the red light setting means there's no restriction on crowd numbers for outdoor events like the Dunedin Dawn service in the Queen's Gardens. The Anzac Day service has attracted between 5,000 to 7,000 people in some years, but Dunedin's RSA believes they may be lucky to get 2,000 to 3,000 people this year. Many RSA members are over 70, meaning they're in a very vulnerable group. Dunedin scientists have uncovered the history of New Zealand's blue-eyed shags by studying their DNA. Most New Zealand birds originate from Australia, but it's believed the shags came to New Zealand from a continent much further away.
The heritage of New Zealand's blue-eyed shags is now revealed through science. A study by the University of Otago into the genetics of the seabirds found their origins are quite different to that of most New Zealand birds.
Unlike a lot of New Zealand birds that trace their ancestry to Australia, ours can trace their ancestry all the way back to South America.
Paleontologist Dr. Nick Rawlins studies the evolution of animals through their DNA. His lab research has now revealed how New Zealand's shag evolved from other South Pacific populations.
Through collaborators all around the world, we've managed to get these samples, we've got them back to our lab, we've extracted the DNA and really started looking at their genetic code and then using that genetic code to reconstruct what their evolutionary history was like. When did populations diverge? When did they arrive in areas?
His study suggests blue-eyed shags must have lived in Antarctica when the climate was much warmer. When the area became covered in ice again, the southern populations couldn't survive the cold. But New Zealand's shags hung on throughout the Ice Age.
2.5 million years ago, blue-eyed shags migrated out of South America to Antarctica, around Antarctica and up into New Zealand, and evolved into the shags we have today. So Fovo shag down in Fovo Strait, Stewart Island, Targo shag, king shag in the Marlborough Sounds.
There are now 17 different species and subspecies of the seabird, and scientists say they're surprised at how quickly shag populations bounced back during climate changes in the past. In Dunedin, the South Today.
E whai aki nei. Still to come on the South Today. The future's looking brighter for our region's young people, and a brave man's inspiring recovery from a terrible accident.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life. Tuesdays, 7:30.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
We're Age Concern Otago.
Age Concern Otago hosts a multitude of social activity, including interwalks.
Hewa puha ke
Hi there, guess who? Do you recognise the eyes? Oh, okay, it's a haircut. Anyway, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores are carrying on as usual. Despite what's happening in the world, we have got some great stock for you. Personally, I've spent 50 years in this business and we have some excellent supplier relationships. We've got great stock, it's hand-picked, it's here, it's on time, and it's ready for this great summer.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So, as my favourite cut says, keep calm and carry on.
Great Scott! 30% off for 30 hours. My mate John's travelling back in time this weekend in his store-wide price wind back. The price of everything's going up, but John's winding the clock back with his 30% off everything. Shop in store or online at mymatejohn.co.nz with click and collect and contact-free delivery options available.
Where did you get that furniture from? Stafford Street and My Mate John.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Spark your joy with jazz, the next generation from Honda.
Every day the team at Gillian's supports grieving families at their time of need, from answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
What have you got?
Okay. Chicks World, party time, excellent.
Love it! Chicks World! Chicks World!
Welcome back. The Otago Community Trust has earmarked $10 million to a suite of new funds in support of Otago's young people. The Trust says that the funds are aimed at lifting the capability of young people in the Otago region. It'll invest up to $10 million over the next 5 years into organisations and initiatives that seek to support the region's youth. The decision follows research commissioned by the Trust prior to COVID in the youth sector in Otago. Community Trust CEO Barbara Bridger says they learnt investing in community building and support structures plays a powerful and protective role for children. The new funding will be invested in organisations and initiatives aimed at raising resilience and increasing capacity among Otago's children and young people. A tetraplegic whose family was told he would never walk again recently completed a 5-kilometre run, receiving rapturous applause from friends and family. Wellington man Andrew Ledsley was left paralysed after a mountain bike accident. He spent months learning to walk again at Christchurch's Burwood Spinal Unit, slowly regaining the use of his limbs after a long battle.
2 years after sustaining a spinal cord impairment, Wellington tetraplegic Andrew Ledsley completed his goal of running 5 kilometres in front of friends and family. The 49-year-old broke his neck when he went over the handlebars of his mountain bike and landed on his head, paralysing him instantly. His family were told he would never walk again, but it was a reality Ledsley never accepted. He spent months rehabilitating at Christchurch's Burwood Spinal Unit, learning how to walk again.
To begin with, I still really wasn't running. When I was trying to run, it was like I was doing a marching sort of a emotion.
He says being able to get from his wheelchair to walking gave him the confidence that he could continue to improve.
There was a moment where it just clicked. From that point, our brain went, that's running. It was from that point that it was all about just conditioning, building strength, setting goals.
One of his goals was to run 5 kilometres.
I pinched myself really to think where I was at. A huge amount of pride today. I'm grateful to so many people.
He credits expert care and ACC for getting him to the finish line.
And everyone's injury is different. Everyone's going to be there on their own pathways, and whatever pathway people are on, always have belief, because I firmly believe you can keep on recovering.
Leslie hopes the story might inspire others to keep trying and don't give up. In Christchurch, the South today.
A reforestation project on dry and inhospitable land at Lake Hawea Station is starting to take shape. A couple of volunteer tree planters are revegetating a section of their sheep run in an effort to offset their carbon footprint.
Rugged farmland being converted back into native forest. Central Otago Forest and Bird members Evan Alty and Mo Turnbull are checking up on the progress of the native trees they and other volunteers have planted at Lake Hawea Station. They're pleased to see bird life already on the increase in the replanted area.
One thing that I've noticed since we've started planting here is we're now seeing quite a lot of native birds. We had 2 or 3 fantails here and tomtit when I was up here a couple of weeks ago, right, and grey warbler. So some of the native birds, there's a spillover from the Grandview Creek Conservation Area. We're getting some of those birds down here, which is really good.
The pair are also working alongside other volunteers in a predator trapping project at nearby Makarora, but those regular trips have got them thinking about their carbon footprint, which encouraged them to undertake this tree planting project. They're trying to revegetate 2 hectares near Grandview Track. It's inhospitable ground, and nearly every tree planted needs a protective barrier to keep rabbits at bay.
All of the trees have got rabbit protectors on them. Rabbits, along with drought, are the biggest problem up here, but we're pretty lucky. Lake Hawea Station keep on top of their rabbits pretty well, so we've had very little trouble with the rabbit.
The newly planted native trees and shrubs need regular watering to get started, which is a challenge for volunteers to overcome.
A hose reaches most of what we've planted now, and we'll have to think a little bit about that when we plant further up the hill. Particularly pressure will be an issue, but that's an issue for a later time.
This is just one of several native reforestation projects at Lake Hawea Station. The sheep run is now owned by the Ross family, who sold their successful vodka business called 42 Below for $138 million in 2006. Turnbull's impressed with how the family have turned the station into New Zealand's first carbon-neutral farm.
I would have to say that they've been some of the best people on high country farms that I ever worked with. I spent an entire career travelling around Otago's high country, and some of them can be really grumpy. What do you want? The Rosses are really, really good people to work with.
Lake Hawea Station is also home to several critically endangered species, including grand and Otago skinks and a very rare fish called the Clutha flathead galaxid. At Lake Hawea, the South Today.
E whaahine. Still to come on the South Today, Christchurch's Anton Cooper leads the Kiwi medals at the Oceania Mountain Bike Champs, and Kai Tangata locals celebrate a successful season on the BMX track.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life. Tuesdays, 7:30.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
Great Scott! 30% off for 30 hours. My mate John's travelling back in time this weekend in his store-wide price wind-back.
And my mate John.
Livingwell Disability Resource Centre, a not-for-profit charitable organisation and your one-stop shop for information and resources to help you retain independence. We offer a wide range of assistive products from jar openers to mobility scooters and provide assessments for Total Mobility, the half-price taxi scheme. Come and see the friendly team. You'll find us on the corner of George and Bath Streets, ground floor of Burns House.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
Christchurch mountain bike star Anton Cooper has claimed his 6th consecutive Oceania cross-country title. The Trek Factory professional initially rode with fellow North Canterbury rider Ben Oliver for the first lap of the Gold Coast course. The world number 9 then pushed clear in a solo display, winning by 40 seconds over Australian Dan McConnell. Christchurch rider Annabelle Bligh came second in the under-19 women's race, finishing just behind Taupō's Mia Cameron. Meanwhile, Southland's Josh Burnett was the best of the Kiwis in the under-23 male race, also finishing second. The Oceania Champs is an important event for world qualifying points. Kai Tangata's BMX club has signed off with another successful season at their home track, the final day of their meeting of the summer. The Director of National Competitions was in town to watch the event, with one young racer qualifying to race overseas.
Action on the track at the Kai Tangata Black Gold BMX Club's final meeting of the season. And watching the fast and furious competition with interest was a special guest, BMX NZ National Officiating Director Tony Nelson.
It's an honour for me to be invited down here to Kai Tangata BMX Club to run their Category 10 race meet. It's part of Mainland South. It's a great way to finish our season off. We've had a great season.
The club took 13 riders to the South Island Champs last year, with 7 of the southern members making to finals. Young Ada Begg has been selected for the Mighty 11's International BMX competition next month in Brisbane. The 11-year-old has been racing since she was 3 and has some good reasons for enjoying the sport.
Yeah, making friends in the competition is pretty good as well.
Kai Tangata has a good record in the sport and attracts strong support from local businesses for such a small club. Nelson says the sport is in good health in the district as well as across the country.
The sport is in very good hands with Kai Tangata. It's a big day for them. They've got a rider heading over in 2 weeks' time to the Oceanias to compete for the Mighty 11 title, along with the rest of the riders.
The Kai Tangata BMX Club holds regular meetings during the season on Wednesday nights and Saturdays, with a prize giving tomorrow set to round out this season's events. In Kai Tangata, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Fiery debate at Dunedin City Council's online meeting as a decision to join a Three Waters lobby group gets overturned. High temperatures and lower than normal rainfall in Southland has prompted a total fire ban across the district from today. And Dunedin scientists study the DNA of New Zealand's blue-eyed shags and discover the humble seabirds may have come here from South America. And now a time to have a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
It'll be milder tomorrow and early Thursday as a northerly airflow builds ahead of a weakening cold front, which will move across the region later on Thursday, followed by a cold southwesterly change with showers. Heading to the top of Te Waipounamu, Nelson is set to be 23 with a few high clouds. Greymouth is also due for some cloudy skies, but with 21 degrees. And across the Alps to the east, it's going to be a bit cooler, with Christchurch on 18, also with a few clouds. Looking ahead for our southern towns along the coast, the Catlins are in for fine weather and light nor'easterlies and a high of 18 degrees. Similar in Balclutha with clear skies, light winds and a high of 19 degrees. Moving inland, Lumsden and Gore can expect moderate northerlies with some high cloud and a high of 20 degrees. Travelling west now to the Central Lakes area, Wanaka, Queenstown and Alexandra are all in for fine weather, light winds and highs of 23 or 24 degrees. Increasing cloud in Te Anau with moderate northerlies and a high of 19 degrees. Looking at the northern towns along the coast, Timaru can expect fine weather with light easterlies and a high of 20 degrees. Oamaru, fine weather, moderate nor'easterlies and a high of 18. Further inland, Twizel and Ormarama can expect clear skies and light winds with a high of 23 degrees. In Dunedin, it'll be fine tonight with nor'east winds and an overnight low of 9 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly fine and sunny, some breezy nor'easterlies and a high of 18 and a low of 11 degrees. For Thursday, thick high cloud and mild northerlies for most of the day, but some low cloud and showers developing by early evening, with colder southwesterlies becoming strong, and a high of 20 and a low of 11 degrees. And in Invercargill, there'll be some cloud tonight with light winds and an overnight low of 7 degrees. Warmer tomorrow though, with sunshine and some high cloud and moderate northerly winds developing. A high of 18 and a low of 12 degrees. To Thursday, fine early, but then some showers developing during the morning with colder southwesterlies freshening. Showers clearing late in the day and the winds will ease. A high of 20 and a low of 10 degrees. And that's the news for this Tuesday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch your news bulletins on demand. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.